ancient guilds rule a city that covers the world.
Hey there, YouTube. It's Mr. Anonymity Trade coming to you with the first lazy Sunday that I've had in a while. And as such, I've decided that I'll catch up on some content, make this video, maybe a Planeswalker video, and a trade binder. I need to update my trade binder. It's been a while. So this is going to be a response to Ozman1 and Mr. Lubufu in the comments of my last video, where they ask respectively. Ozman says, what did I like so much about Ravnica? And Mr. Lubufu wants to know what I want to see in the new Ravnica set that's been spoiled. So that should be pretty easy. But first, let's all pay our respects. It is Easter Sunday after all, so pay our respects to the first reanimator, Jesus. Liliana Vess's predecessor in this respect. If you guys pop on over to Matthew 27:51 through 53, you'll see what I mean. It's a pretty interesting occurrence. So there's that. Happy Easter for all you Christians, by the way. So, yeah. So what I liked so much about Ravnica. First off, the politics of Ravnica was really great. There were 10 guilds that kind of ran things, and it was interesting to see all of their different modalities and incarnations. Like, I kind of was partial to the Rakdos just mainly because of their mana colors. But also they were pretty cool. They were just, out for whatever they felt like doing, which was usually screwing up everyone else's stuff, which is pretty cool. The Gruul clan was pretty cool too. Honestly, it was just like reading the clan description, you're like, oh, it's a clan of beaters. But of course, red and green, red and black, of course I would be partial to those two. The Selznaya Conclave was pretty cool too. Orzhov was pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know. I never really got into the Simic or the Boros or any of those other people a lot, but Golgari was pretty cool, green and black. So yeah, the clan structure was really interesting. The flavor for Ravnica was fantastic. They live on this plane that's almost completely city. It's like steampunk Coruscant, basically. And it's run by these guilds who are basically just trying to undercut each other all of the time. And they all have their own prolific figures and champions. And it's just really interesting to see their interaction. So that is, I think, what contributed to a lot of Ravnica's success. Was there was a lot of solid flavor to go along with it. And you probably could have written books and books on Ravnica just because the interactions were so complex and like to set up backstory and stuff. But play mechanic wise, Ravnica was awesome for me, at least, because there were a lot of multicolor cards. Probably, I would say a predominant chunk of the set was multicolor. Not a lot of mono decks, Ravnica. And I thought that was really awesome. Like, it was super cool to see a set that kind of took advantage of the whole combo deck scheme. Like, there are always the two-colored decks that will arise when a standard set releases, but Ravnica was almost predicated on it. And it kind of changed the meta in that way, where you couldn't just be mono this, mono that, and be as successful. So I thought that was really interesting that Wizards did that, and I'm really looking forward to it when it comes to this new Ravnica set. Let's see, what else do I like? Got the flavor, got the multicolors. There are a couple interesting abilities. I wasn't really a fan of most of them. Like, I don't know. Dredge was useful, kind of. If you couldn't bring something back from the dead, Dredge basically allowed you to do so, but you had to basically skip your draw phase, which is kind of a pain. So it would have to be a really good card for me to want to do that. Sorry. Yeah, Ravnica was just flavorful. The art was all pretty great. Yeah, and it was just, there were a lot of great cards that came with it, the combo cards that were great. some that I still use. Like I have got a Rakdos Carnarium in my EDH deck. I mean, it was just a very well designed set, and I look forward to that. What I want to see in the new Ravnica. First off, I don't want to see any reprints. I don't want any shock lands to be reprinted. That's the big thing. I don't want them to reprint shock lands. Reason number one, it's boring. I hate it when Wizards reprints specialized cards. That's what the core sets are for. The core sets are for you to reprint things. If you want to reprint in M13, if you want to do some lightning bolts, I'd be all over that, Wizards. You know what? Give me a new lightning bolt. I'd be all about that. I don't want you to reprint, any of the Ravnica block lands. I don't want to see any Godless Shrine. I don't want to see Temple Garden. I don't want to see Hallowed Fountain. I don't want to see any of that stuff. I want you to come up with something new. If you have to have shock lands or dual lands of any kind, come up with something new. I don't want to see the same cards. It's boring. Not to mention, if you reprint it, the price goes down. So all those shock lands that were sought after, price goes down because they've just been reprinted. You can do it cheaper. And granted, it's not going to go down a lot because they're still the original cards, but still, I don't want to see that kind of gap just because we had to have us some shock lands. Something I do want to see, I want Niv Mizzet to be a Planeswalker. Why I think this is going to happen is, and I'm calling it here, so for anyone, like, before any of the spoilers, so if anyone is like, oh, Mr. Anonymity Tread said that so long ago, oh, he was right. I really think it's going to happen, and here's why. So Niv was kind of a bigwig back in the original set. He was the leader of the Izzet, whatever it was, something, and he's the leader, and he's just kind of like, he's a dragon mage, red blue, just pretty intense. I mean, yeah, the last couple dragon mages that we've seen are people like Nicol Bolas, who is Nicol Bolas. And he's palling around with Jace, it looks like. And the thing that defines blue anything is arrogance, the arrogance of knowledge, in my opinion. If you look at Niv Mizzet, and especially his guild and the flavor text involved and stuff, like even his flavor text, Niv Mizzet equals #1. Like, the dude is just full of himself. And so he wouldn't be palling around with Jace unless Jace could give him something that he wanted or needed. And I think that's how to access his Planeswalker Spark, or how to kind of channel that energy. Because Niv is already multicolored, so he'd be perfect for a Ravnica Planeswalker. Wizards hasn't really thrown in a new Planeswalker. Like, we've seen iterations of the same Planeswalkers, and I can see them trying to build hype on this set by making Niv Mizzet a Planeswalker, which could really change the game for some of the other guilds in Ravnica, which would be an interesting story development. So I'd be all over it. So no reprints, Niv Mizzet as a Planeswalker. What else do I want to see? I honestly would like to see some new guilds, because it's, been a while since we've been back to Ravnica, so maybe the politics have kind of changed. Maybe some of the guilds have gotten together, maybe some of the guilds have split off into smaller guilds. I think that would be interesting. Or even completely new guilds. Maybe the Izzet League is the only guild left, because Niv Mizzet is a Planeswalker now. I mean, it could be good. I'll be highly interested to see what the central conflict is, especially since Jace is ending up on the plane. And Jace has had a lot of interactions with a lot of different Planeswalkers, so really the Planeswalker influence on this might be more substantial than just Jace, but we'll have to wait and see. So those are my Ravnica viewpoints as of now. I'll probably update those as time goes on. But as always, this is Mr. Anonymity Trade, telling you to trade safe.